Hi everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Velocity by Hawky.ai. So today in our episode we have Chethan Shenoy, and Chetan has a really versatile experience all the way from agency to brands to leading marketing in brands to now in TV and so on. I think if we have to learn from someone who has had extremely diverse expertise and who will be able to have a very unfiltered conversation with respect to the fundamentals and the first principles of marketing. I think Chetan would be one of those people. Thanks for Chetan. Thanks for coming in. Happy to have you in our podcast today.
Thank you, Surinder. It's my pleasure.
Sure. So, yeah, as I was just telling about you, I think I have seen very little people who have had digital plus agency side and then the brand side and then the TV side experience like you. And I think all in leading brands and leading agencies and so on, right? So, why don't we get started where you can give a small introduction about yourself and how this journey has been so far? Is the reason you have been so versatile, or let's say have been in multiple different roles by choice, or let's say it was maybe on the flow, right? Or and then finally, explain us a little bit about your current position at Z. What does that role entail, Jason?
So I'll start with my B school journey. So I did my PGDM from SCMS Cochin and then got into campus placement. I worked in sales, hardcore sales, for
Mm,
about 6 months in India Bull Securities Limited. The company doesn't
mm,
exist anymore. They were the pioneers in online trading in India. So, but the Kida was about marketing and branding right from day one. But
mm,
since I had to pay my loan off, I had to get into some job from, from the college. As an opportunity came in, I joined the legendary TBWA group, group of agencies. I was posted in Cochin for about 1 year. I worked there. But then I came to Bangalore, where I was supposed to, be placed.
mm.
Personally, I, loved Bangalore more than any other city. So joined FCB Ulka. Worked there for about 1.5 years. Managed brands like Chandrika soap and coincidentally, as universe would have it, Zee Kannada was one of my clients then, about
Oh,
17 years back.
okay.
Then after that, most of the client servicing people move into the client side, marketing or brand side. That's what I also did because it
Uh,
pays better than the agency, obviously.
mm,
Then worked in Acer for 5 years. Fantastic journey. I learned the real ABCD of marketing over there. Was lucky enough to work with Hrithik Roshan very closely for 4 years as he was the brand ambassador for Acer. Saw Acer grow the ladder and reach number one laptop brand spot in about 2011.
nice.
Then after that, joined Samsung. So Samsung was a pure retail profile. I was heading large format retail marketing for South Division, handling all the so-called LFR, large format retail behemoths like Reliance Retail and Chroma. Then, as fate would have it, I got a call from Dubai. My old friend called me to run an operations for an agency there.
Okay.
I was doing well in Samsung, but as human greed, whatever you want to call it, there was more money there. I just left Samsung and flew to Dubai. But 5, 6 months, the agency was shaky there. I had to come back. The agency closed down. Then joined another agency called Hakuhudo, which is Japan's number two agency. There I handled Toyota Camry. I was part of the team which launched a Toyota Camry hybrid in the country.
Wow. Okay.
Then moved to Future Group. Future Lifestyle Fashion was the brand division of Future Group. I was handling 19 apparel brands there
Mm,
with a team of about 9 people. End-to-end 360-degree marketing was my role there. Then
sure.
after that, I moved to Page Industries. Page Industries has two brands, Jockey and Speedo. I was heading marketing for Speedo for India and South Asia.
Mm,
After that, COVID hit. Being a workaholic, I couldn't sit at home quietly. There was no work because after hospitality, sports was the biggest hit category when
mm,
the
yeah.
lockdown happened back in 2020. Then I started going to my friend's digital agency, was consulting him for free.
Okay.
Then about 6 months, I was observing there and there was a lot of opportunity. He was not a hardcore marketing professional like me. So I thought I can add a lot of value and grow that agency to a higher level.
Okay.
And I quit Speedo and joined that agency DJ Push as a 50% partner, managing partner. Grew the business very rapidly. Between 8 to 20 months, I had about 15 clients. Revenue was up, was upwards 1.5 crore per year. We had a 17-member team. Things were doing very well. Then things didn't work out between me and my partner in terms of vision of the agency. So he
Okay.
had a different vision. He had a different way to run the business. I had a different way to run the business. I came out of the business and started my own small boutique agency called F30.
Hmm.
Then AI, was growing very fast, and there are a lot of freelancers mushrooming around. Democratization of digital marketing happened, and it was all price game. So I
Yes.
didn't want to play the price game, and then coincidentally got a call from Zee Kannada, and I got the offer, and then I joined last December.
Nice.
So this
Got
is
it.
a short version of my roller coaster journey. Yeah.
Super, super, Chetan. I mean, I think this is a, extreme diversity in terms of the role, right? In terms of whatever you have done. So, out of this, like, how much are maybe, let's say, in digital roles, particularly digital marketing roles, like, how much were performance and how much were branding, Chetan? Like, if you have to tell roughly.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't like to divide it. Maybe when
Mm.
I was running my own agency, those 3 years was more bent towards digital.
Okay.
Yeah. And in digital, it was a balance between performance and social.
Mm.
Okay. In 2016 is when I did my digital marketing course formally. But before that
Yeah.
itself, I was practicing it. But then I needed an academic qualification just to be more confident when I speak
Mm.
to others.
Mm.
So overall, I'm a marketing professional. I don't see digital as a separate wing, or see, I see the consumer and I see where the consumer can be met with.
Okay.
So depending on where that person, he or she is present, how to approach through which medium is the basic question that we need to answer. That is
Mm.
how I
Sure.
proceed with my work. Yeah.
Okay, got it, Chetan. I saw, I mean, while I was going through your LinkedIn profile, I saw something on your title, which is Brands Live Beyond You and Me, right? While on a on a really high level, we do understand how important it is to build the brand, right? And I think that's what you also wanted to convey. Maybe yes, can you explain that? Is that your maybe the single most thing that you take, let's say, very personally or let's say very importantly in your entire career? How can you explain that or elaborate that?
Yeah, so that statement comes from comes from my heart. I'm a passionate brand marketer, and it's so true, right? I just pulled in some facts a couple of days back. Brands actually live, beyond you and me. The
Mm.
oldest company in the world, as per Google, is a company called Kongo Gumi, a Japanese construction company which was
Oh,
founded in AD 578. Okay, so that company lived for about 1,400 years.
wow.
Okay, it was
Okay.
taken over by some other company in 2006, I think. But that's what it is, right? I mean, generations of human beings came and went, but that company
Mm.
stayed. Tata Sons, or Tata as you fondly call it, is about 150 years old. Apple is still rocking. We don't have Steve Jobs around,
Yes.
right? So it is magical. It's just I'm just awestruck by this concept of branding and brand. And if
Mm.
nurtured well, if thought through well, then brands can really live for centuries together.
Mm.
And how this statement came up is very interesting. So I was working in TBWA, my first agency. We had
Mm.
a creative director called Prashant Menon, very, very sharp, very shrewd. So one
Okay.
of the evenings, in one of those sessions, we were discussing in general about brands, and and I was a 25, 26-year old kid. So I
Mm.
was just asking questions, and then as a passing comment, he mentioned something saying, Chetan, you will die, I will die, but brands will live on. Okay.
Mm.
That is what struck me. I mean, it was just a passing comment by him, though he meant it very well. But for me, I'm in my first job in marketing, and so that is where it tickled me, and it just stayed with me.
Okay.
So from there onwards, my single principle is whatever work comes, whatever question is asked, whatever project comes in,
Mm.
whatever the query is, there is only one question: is this good for the brand? Will this thing harm the brand? If I'm
Mm.
able to answer the question yes or no, basis that I'll just go ahead with. It's
Got
very
it.
simple. Actually, the simplest question you can answer. Actually, yeah,
Got it. That's great, actually. Yeah, I mean, it is true. And the brands do go through transformations and also go through a lot of these things. I think if the brands foundations are really clear and I think the language has to be preserved and so on. So, yeah. That's great, Chetan. So, like in this overall career of this many years, right? So, what is one thing that you would want to probably like unlearn from your agency experience? Like working with agencies is slightly different working with the brands, right? Though the brand building aspect of it might not change that much, but I think yeah, the work nature and other things will change. And I've seen a lot of leaders, including leaders and marketing professionals go through some sort of a transition or struggle in terms of moving from an agency to a brand, right? So, is there anything that you had to unlearn when you did the transition between an agency to brand and vice versa?
See, there is no such, I mean, no such specific thing, but what happens is, at least in olden days, nowadays, the whole game of agency is different,
Mm,
and the whole marketing game also has changed a lot in the last
yeah,
decade at least.
yeah,
So previously, what used to happen is that as agency folks, we were crazy about brands and we were always thinking long term.
mm,
Okay, results were measured through FGDs and research. Okay, mediums were more so-called ATL,
mm,
through your TV and outdoor and print. So there were no numbers that were coming back saying I have spent X number of money and Y number of
mm,
impressions is what I have got. So there was no
yeah,
measurement metrics
measure.
those days. That is where your research agencies used to come into picture, and they used to give
Mm,
us a subjective idea
mm,
whether the campaign has worked well or not. And then if it has
yeah,
worked, then we would build upon the same proposition and a similar communication, execute a different kind of film, and then
mm,
promote the brand. That used to be
mm,
the old game. But
yeah,
after digital, became big, and the role of marketeers and CMOs came under pressure in terms of more data was poured in, and we are more responsible for results today than a decade
mm,
back, where numbers reflect all the efforts. So the long-term thinking has taken a backseat overall.
mm,
Okay, I won't say it is vanished completely, but the priority is immediate results. There are
correct.
multiple factors. There are macroeconomics events also that are happening. So it's an overall change that is been seen. So that one unlearning I had to little bit. I mean, it was not as difficult. But yeah, that is what the
Got it.
major difference you will see. Yeah,
Got it, Chetan. I think that's a great question. I had one thing that I wanted to ask. I think we understand digital marketing well. Personally, I understand digital marketing well, and I think it's now more about measurement and more about course corrections and very frequent changes that are needed to, let's say, it can be very simple things like understanding the algorithms, like Meta or Google algorithms, or understanding the Google search algorithms, and so on and so forth. So it has gone down to that level where you optimize for instant result, right? Like you put a content today and you want outcome from that content. It can be paid content or it can be organic content. And there are a lot of systems, frameworks, and tools that has come to measure this and give almost instant alerts. At Hawky, we have a module where we give instant alert based on how their company is performing, if there is any particular threshold breaching or not, and so on and so forth, right? So we are at this level, and I think probably as a modern digital marketer, if someone is, let's say, devoid of these alerting systems, probably they will go anxious like anything, right? So they will not be able to survive. So that's the stage right now. Maybe if we, one is, you mentioned that this measurement was never there in ATL earlier. And now I think there is, like, even in ATL, I heard like there are a lot of measurement systems that has come up and so on, right? So how
yeah.
does attribution really work in ATL or in Chetan? Can you explain that maybe in detail on what are the signals that you look for and what are the macro or micro signals and how delayed you get that signals? Do you get it instantly or do you get it really delayed? And what mechanisms do you get that? Can you double click there?
Yeah. So I'll just get into a little bit of detail on the TV bit here. So we have this measurement system called BARC, whose
Yeah.
ratings come every Thursday. Now this is related to non-news media. So we have
Mm,
multiple categories in TV media, right? So we have GECs, which
mm,
is General Entertainment Channel.
mm,
Zee is also one of them, Zee
yeah.
Kannada. And then there are movie channels, or then there are lifestyle channels, and so on.
Mm, mm,
So we have these ratings that come every Thursday, and that is where we come to know about. It's only a trend. It is not an absolute number because we have BARC has fixed people meters in n number of households across the country,
Mm.
and basis that we extrapolate.
Okay.
We have certain number of X Y number of households have television sets in their homes. So this X and Y is mapped, and then the trend is showed, and
Mm.
that is where all these GRPs and TBRs
Mm.
reach and other ratings come into picture. So every Thursday is a very stressed out day for all the media guys like me. What happens is every channel knows their TG very clearly. When it comes to general entertainment channels, we know our core audience is that homemaker at home who is approximately 30 to 35 years plus of age.
Sure.
Mostly she's a homemaker. She might go to work also, but most of them are homemakers.
Mm.
And TV is the relaxation box for them.
Okay.
Today there are reels and shorts. Today there's a small, a small device in your hand, but otherwise it is the TV, which is a go-to place for this lady.
Okay.
And all the content that comes out of TV is very gossip friendly.
Okay.
She can discuss what happens in that particular fiction show or TV serial with
Mm.
her cousins, with her friends, with her neighbors,
Mm.
the society she lives in, wherever.
Mm.
So it becomes fodder for her discussions. That is
Mm.
one. Second is a lot of empathy is found there. She sees herself in a lot of places in those
Mm.
TV shows. She sees her mother, her father, her husband, her kids in those TV shows.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of relatability because the
Relatability.
story
Correct.
is of a common middle class household in our
Mm.
country. Okay, though it is fiction, it is inspired by our normal daily life.
Correct.
That is the whole beauty of it. Though people are moving to OTT and there is connected TV and there
Mm.
is smartphone, but TV is still the largest medium in the country. It has got the highest eyeballs, highest impressions.
Okay.
And when it comes to advertising also, the attention rate is much higher when it comes to TV watching. Just
Mm.
an example, if there is an ad on Instagram, the
Mm.
probability of you skipping it within 2 and 3 seconds is say X percentage. Same percentage when you apply it to TV is about 8 to 9 in 89 seconds.
Mm.
So it's about three
Got it.
times. So yeah.
Yeah.
And this is backed by science and there are a lot of reports out there.
Yeah.
So we know the core audience. In general, we actually map the core audience and we make the content for that core audience. Okay,
Mm.
that is where
Got it.
that is why even the brands that come on board, especially for GECs, are mostly B2C brands.
Mm.
In B2C, if you leave out the Hindi-speaking HSM GECs like your ZTV and Star Plus and all that, if you go to regional or language channels like
Yeah.
Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, you will find a lot of retail brands playing a very big role,
Mm.
right? Retail jewelry brands, retail furniture, interior
Mm.
brands, retail soap brands. So, more than half of our clients are from retail
Mm.
who are doing very well in either Bangalore or all 31 districts of Karnataka.
Yeah. Mm.
So we have
Got it.
a fair enough idea about our target audience.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got it, Chetan. So now you mentioned about BARC and you had like six people metrics and so on, right? So how do you get that? In what granularity do you get that data, Chetan? Like, do you get it more like, hey, this particular ad was watched by this many people, or this particular, let's say, program was watched by these people from this TG and so on? Like, what is the granularity in which you get that data?
Yeah, so we have two to three broad categories. One is two plus age, which is everybody in the state of Karnataka, for example, who has a TV at home. So two plus is
Mm.
2 plus years old. But what we and advertisers are serious about is 15 plus rating.
Yes. Yeah.
Because once you're 15 years old, when you're into teenage, you are a little more matured and you can take decisions or you can influence the decision
Correct.
maker.
Correct.
Today, I have a 16-year-old son. If he sees an ad
Mm.
and he says, Dad, you have an iPhone 14 plus, which is about 2.5 years old, 2 years old. Samsung S24 is very good. Please go for it.
Mm.
So he is matured enough or he's sensible enough, intelligent enough to see the ad and
Correct.
tell me to make a decision. So 15
Correct.
plus is where the serious thought and decision goes in.
Mm.
Then there is U plus R, which is your urban plus rural. Then there is urban.
Correct.
So this is the overall metrics in terms of
Mm.
the age group. And in
Sure.
terms of viewing, we have time spent. We have something called time spent, which
Mm.
gives you through a program how many times the person has gone out to another channel and then come back. So all those graphs are available
Okay.
and basis that we change. programming accordingly, and then brands also come on board accordingly.
Understood. Got it. That's great actually. Is there anything else apart from BARC? Like for example,
No,
yeah,
no,
this
that's all.
is the primary one. Okay. And this is applicable even if the TV is served through a set-top box or through let's say digital subscription and so on as well. Does that also account into this?
No, this account's only for set-top boxes.
Only for set-top boxes. Got it.
Exactly.
Got it, Chetan. Great. I think this was really great to understand how this is measured, right? This was always a curiosity for me. And now coming to your latest launch, Zee Power, right? So recently, I think you launched that, and it was, I think, you already had Zee Kannada, and this is a new addition. Can you explain a little bit on how was the thought came into picture, and what was the objective idea, and also more importantly, how did you plan that launch? Or typically, want to know how a typical TV channel launch would phase out and how it would look like.
Yeah. So we had this movie channel called Zee Picture, which is about
Mm,
5 years old, which was a movie only channel.
mm.
It was running for about 5 years.
Okay.
But then there was a white space that we saw, especially in Kannada audience, where there were people who wanted to have a little bit of different content, which is a mixture of, if I may say, the general entertainment fiction show mix and the OTT content.
Sure.
So these are two extremes actually. Okay, general entertainment is too exaggerated and too dramatic, and OTT is too much raw. Right?
Mm,
There are a lot of houses, TVs are locked because they're teenagers. The parents don't want to, allow their teenage kids to watch OTT channels, right? So
mm.
there was a white space in between which can bridge the gap and bring in a cocktail kind of a content in
Okay.
between.
Mm,
That is
mm,
where we said, we will launch this new GEC called Zee Power,
mm,
and Zee Picture movies per se is going through a little bit of tad, thanks to the movie industry itself, and then the the OTT explosion, right?
mm.
A lot of
Okay.
content pieces, a lot of movies are OTT only movies are produced today, for example.
Correct. Yeah.
So that is the gap that we saw, and hence we said
Mm,
Z Picture, the same channel, will be replaced with Z Power. This
mm.
was the main thought at the back end. But then how the launch went on, we had Zee Kannada as the biggest media vehicle for
Yes.
us. We are about 40% market share. We are the number one channel since last 7 years. So that is the biggest medium we have. Forget about digital, forget about outdoor. We have our own
Yes.
channel as the biggest media vehicle. Then we did a few interesting stuff. We took up a couple of trains and branded them with Z Power. Then we picked up 14 to 15 important district headquarters. We had a small carnival kind of an event in these 15 headquarters,
Mm,
bringing in popular social personalities of those local places. Then we did
mm.
some innovation with Swiggy. We are
Okay.
about to do something with Zomato very soon.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So this was a 3 month, 3 to 6 month campaign which got launched in the month of July, and it is still running through and throughout. Apart from this, your usual suspects like bus branding and outdoor print
Mm.
ads. So all those are hygiene that
Yeah.
we cannot miss. Yeah.
Got it, Chetan. This was like you mentioned 40 to 40% of market share is with G Canada, right? How was this? Wouldn't it dilute that maybe leadership position or that market share when you bring something in which is probably a hybrid of your OTT plus probably the TV that you already have? What was that, and how is the result so far?
Yeah, so see the audience of Zee Kannada, I won't say no one will go to Zee Power, but the percentage will be very, very minuscule.
Okay,
Because audience of Zee Kannada is traditional audience who want their TV serials or shows to be dramatic,
okay,
who want their reality shows to be dramatic.
okay.
Okay, but Zee Power, the audience will be little younger, maybe 25 plus. That is the
Okay,
target.
sure.
So that the two TG that we wanted to pull into Zee Power, one is 25 plus who don't watch TV,
Hmm.
and another is 25 plus who are watching OTT.
Okay,
Okay, so
yeah.
ideally we wanted a channel where the content is well balanced, where, for example, me, my wife, my 16-year-old son, and my 12-year-old daughter can watch together. That was the ideal scenario that we want to promote.
Got it, Chetan. And what would be the which means like, will there be any more distribution mediums? Like, will it only be set-top box, or will it be more things? Let's say maybe YouTube channel or like a, OTT version of it, and so on. Like, are there plans on those lines as well?
Yeah. So Z Group has about 50 TV channels overall in the country. We are the
Yes.
largest media house in terms of number of channels, and all the content are available on our OTT platform called Zee.
Yeah. Okay. So this will
Okay. So
also
if you're
go
a
there.
yeah, so if you're a paid subscriber, you can watch the same show real time
Okay.
at the same time. Every show is launched at the same time.
Okay.
So we have a channel called Zee Kannada inside Z5.
Hmm.
Similarly, we have a channel called Zee Power inside Z5.
Hmm.
So you can watch Zee Power either on set-top box
Hmm.
or on Z5 as well.
Super. Got it.
Plus,
Got it.
plus we have our YouTube channels also. But in terms of YouTube channels, what happens is we don't upload or we don't publish the current running shows.
Yeah.
Whichever
Okay.
shows have ended is which will go up on YouTube channel.
Hmm. And that means like maybe after a week or something. Is that how you
As soon
understand it?
see all these so-called TV soaps run for 300, 400, 500 episodes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
goes on for 1.5, 2 years. So after 2 years, when the shows end,
After 2 years. Okay.
immediately, yeah.
Sure.
Immediately it goes on YouTube. Yeah.
Got it. So yeah, I think when you launch say a new channel after maybe 40 or 50 channels that you mentioned, right? So you are launching a 51st channel in a house of channels and one of the largest TV brand out there. So how is that? Let's say if someone has to start something now from 0 to 1 and start a OTT, or let's say start a content piece, right? So what would be the list of steps that we need to take? Let's say the kind of market research or the kind of, let's say, audience research and content needs. How do you take through that particular? Can you explain that once, Chetan?
Yeah, so I'll briefly explain you. Now, the first and most important criteria is you need to have deep pockets. Deep as in
Okay.
the deepest point in ocean is called Challenger Deep in Pacific Ocean. It has to be that deep because there are
Okay.
hundreds of channels today,
Yeah.
right? So it's very difficult to, I mean, if you have money, you can launch and you can keep feeding in money, but how will you differentiate, right? So what generally, I mean, logical thing to do is you put in money, you launch a channel, you hire all the good heads, good brains from
Mm.
other channels, and then start building. But it'll take years to, years together to actually build the
So
brand and,
maybe
pull
it
in the
is true.
audience.
Like maybe TV is not a really great, let's
Yeah.
say, question to ask when it comes to starting from scratch. I know, like I think it's probably a improbable scenario at this point of time.
Yes.
What about an OT?
OTT is also is not so easy. See, I'll tell you
Okay.
today Netflix and Amazon Prime are more or less number one, number two. There is Geo Hotstar, but if you are looking at the content,
Yeah.
right, which is more non-Indian, it is Netflix and Amazon Prime. Z5 we have taken a different route where our thought is our language, our story. Okay,
Okay.
so अपनी भाषा अपनी कहानी in Hindi.
Mm.
So all the regional OTT wings are called by their language names. For example,
Yeah.
we call it Kannada Z5. Then we call it
Correct.
Tamil Z5, Malayalam Z5, Telugu Z5 because regional content is our USP.
Yes.
Unless and until you have a USP like this, it's extremely difficult to survive because here everything is content.
Yeah.
Distribution is even playground.
Mm.
You are available on
Mm.
every Android smart TV. You are available on every Android smartphone. You are available on
Yeah.
every iOS smart. So distribution is even. You can be available anywhere. But
Mm.
why should I watch your OTT than
Mm.
a Z5 or a Netflix is the question here.
Yeah.
And content is the king. So you need to have high quality content.
Mm.
Today people are also getting bored because of this content. People are spending 15 minutes on Netflix looking for a show and then going back and watching an old movie.
Yeah. Happens all
That's
the
the
time.
trend today. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Got it. So first is to like sort of, let's say, take a niche and try to be known for something, known for a particular type of content, and produce the best possible content in that, and get started from there, right? So that's what you would say. Okay, so this is great. So I think I've seen some of the articles where you have been, let's say, known for operational excellence and also in bringing in discipline into the creativity and creative operations and so on, right? I think, yeah. that I think will have a really strong push towards having good quality content, and there should be some methods towards maybe analyzing it or producing it and so on, right? So can you explain like any particular methodologies or framework that you have to bring in operational excellence in creative industry?
Overall, it is sticking to basics, yeah. So now having that calendar fixed well in advance, closely working with the fiction and programming team to know their plans of show launches. Our biggest advantage as a group is mostly across all channels, we have in-house digital team.
Okay,
So
okay,
we don't outsource our digital mandate mostly. Brand campaigns are all
huh,
outsourced mostly, but
okay,
digital it's mostly in under our control. When I say our control, those people are sitting in our office
hmm,
and we are a team. Like Zee Kannada social team is about 16, 17 people, about 16 people, I think.
okay,
That is why we have about 9.5 million followers on Instagram, 11 million
hmm,
followers on Facebook. We are
hmm.
the number two uh, Instagram channel in the country when it comes to media and entertainment category.
Wow, okay,
Okay, and there is a reason is because of this, in-house team plus
in-house.
brutal operational excellence. Yeah.
Got it. Maybe can you double down into that operational excellence part? Like what it be? Maybe you can start with the team structure. It's a six-member team. Like how are they
Yeah,
structured and who what are
yeah,
the
so
key
that's what.
highlights?
So we have a social media lead.
Mm,
Then we have 2 to 3 people per show. So we divide the team as per shows. Then we have a couple of people only for reality shows
mm.
who are on the sets and the studios where the shows are shot.
Okay.
For all the candid bites and
Yeah.
content from all the participants and judges and anchors of those shows.
Mm,
So it is a well-oiled engine. So
got it.
everybody knows what to do, and they do only that.
Mm,
And all this is controlled by a social media lead. And then at a holistic level, I also manage it with a couple of team members. We have our weekly meetings. We have almost daily, job list meetings. It's a little
mm.
difficult to have it daily, but we try and do it. But yeah, I mean, planning is the main thing here. We plan well in advance, 1.5, 2 months in advance itself. We have the calendar ready, and
Mm.
uh, we know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week. We know it. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Got it. Great, great. And the social media team, like I think there is a huge, let's say, change and newer systems and newer algorithms coming up and so on, right? Do you have anyone who is dedicatedly measuring the performance of this content and feeding that loop back on what kind of content works and what kind of content doesn't work? And is there any particular tool that you use for the same currently?
We have a tool which is used by the central team. We have the access to it. It is a central deal. We sit once in a week for half an hour and then look at the numbers, look at the graphs, and
Mm,
try to change the content. But more or less, the trend is very similar. Before we post that particular reel, we know whether this reel will uh,
mm,
go to what million views or engagement. I
mm,
mean, it's almost very very predictable for us
mm.
because 75 to 80% of our content is our show content itself,
Okay, got it.
right? When it comes to reality shows is where we do something different, but otherwise people want to watch only what is there in the show. If you try to
Mm,
experiment something, if you try to go little bit outside of it, we don't get that traction on the medium.
okay.
Yep,
Because that's the audience that you have generated so far, and they came for
correct.
that content. Got
That's
it.
correct.
Got it. Great. And is there any active attempts in producing the viral content, or let's say something that will probably, let's say, be shared very frequently or crazily?
See, most of the content which goes viral is the show content
Show
itself.
content itself.
Those twists and turns in the story itself. Like for
Yeah.
example, Surinder, our average reel
Mm,
goes minimum 1 million views.
mm, mm.
So that's the kind of engaged audience that we have. Like
Okay.
those followers are not by fluke or they actually
Yeah.
look for content. They're actually waiting for that content. And a lot of
Mm,
this audience don't go to TV to track that particular show.
correct.
They watch those 3 to 5 minute snippets and they track the story and they understand the story. Yeah,
Understood.
yeah,
So it is also designed towards making them watch the show and relate to
correct.
it and so on, right? Oh, yeah, it's interesting actually. I mean, the marketing of content that's already getting produced, I think, yeah, it's slightly or probably way different from the traditional, let's say, product marketing or
Correct.
offline. Super, that's great. So yeah, one of the other things is like, do you have any? You mentioned about the weekly meetings. Last week when I was speaking with the executive from Madison Highmines, he mentioned about having Friday rituals where the entire team sort of shares what they learned as well as what they tried, especially experiments that they tried and how the experiments drove results and so on. So, do you have any such, let's say, operational excellence rituals or more like center of excellence kind of initiatives?
At present in Z, there is no specific program or a specific session that we have, but we
Hmm.
have a couple of WhatsApp groups where we put in interesting content,
Okay,
which maybe or may not be viral. If it
okay.
is interesting and if we think that this might work for our category, then we take
Hmm.
inspiration from there and develop something. So apart from that, there is no specific your creative
Yeah,
brainstorming or it's not required because every day
it's
it's a little chaotic and our brain cannot rest. So
hmm.
media industry is very agile. Yeah.
Yeah, got it, got it. And how has AI changed anything? Like, what is the impact of AI so far, and where all you have seen AI impacting either your daily routine or your key metrics or anything of those?
Yeah, so particularly in our team, marketing, there is no much change. We try
Mm,
and use various AI tools through a couple of outsourced agencies or in-house itself to create little topical. Say, for
mm,
example, if you want to do something interesting for Mother's Day, we try to
yeah,
do it. But otherwise, people want original. So, see, our
yeah.
audience are crazy about those artists. They are crazy about the real people, right? So, anything so-called artificial we bring in, it disturbs the equilibrium there.
I'm sure. I think the content production is something that probably AI cannot do much over here, or like
Yeah,
it's a bad idea to do
absolutely,
probably, right? And
absolutely.
what is let's say in terms of let's say your analytics or feedback loop or any of the research or any of those things?
Yeah, that's what. So this feedback and analysis happens mostly through human intervention. My social media team does or spends a lot of time on ORM as well,
Hmm.
going through multiple comments and seeing the trend of the
Yes.
responses, positive,
Okay.
negative, neutral,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
stuff. So it
Yeah.
all depends on human analysis only. We have not
Correct.
used any tool for analysis as of now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Got it. Got it, Chetan. And the positive, like the sentiment analysis also happens sort of a little bit manually at this point of time.
Yeah, so that tool, that particular dashboard gives us some data, and
Mm,
then in parallel, regularly we do our own analysis, and then
mm.
because that feedback is very important, we need to give the feedback to the fiction team so that they can tweak their stories.
Got it. Got it, Chetan. That's great. So one final question from my end before we wrap this up. So what would be probably one advice that you'd want to give to a young marketeer who would want to start his career in TV and in media, right? So what would be that, Chetan? Like maybe something that you had known 10 years earlier of sorts.
But luckily, I think I've had a fairly successful journey, and I'm still a
Yeah.
lot more to go. I've been very lucky to have some amazing bosses across the
Mm,
journey. We are still in touch. One of the bosses is my mentor. So
mm,
first is have at least one mentor. Be lucky and try to get a good boss. That is one. Second is of course stick to basics. It's all
mm.
basically fundamentals. Yesterday it was AI. I mean, digital today is AI. Tomorrow it's something else. But basics will not change.
True.
And third thing is remove these earpods and go anywhere you're going.
Okay.
That's my main tip. Don't close yourself.
Mm,
Smell it, hear it, listen it, look at it, see it,
mm,
consume as much as possible. Be a
mm,
passive listener. If you're going in a bus, in a metro, don't plug in those earphones and watch something or hear something. The loss is
mm.
yours. So best of the consumer insights and observations come very randomly. It's not.
Yeah.
It is never planned. It is never ever planned.
Okay.
So I think that is one because it's a generation thing. I mean, my son also is always on the earphones. It is the biggest distraction for, especially for a marketing and advertising professional.
Got it, Chetan. No, that's great. That's very unique that I have heard from someone in terms of not wearing earphones and being a passive listener. Right? Sure. Thanks for Chetan. This was really great talking with you. We usually ask this question to everyone. Like, can you recommend two people who probably who would want to suggest to this podcast, Chetan?
Yeah, one is Mr. Prashant Deshpande. I will
Ah,
mail it to you later also. Prashant Deshpande is the brand
sure.
head for Kurlon. And second, maybe Ravi Hansdak. He's my ex-boss. He's an
Okay.
independent consultant at
Okay.
present, so he can be a great choice for you.
Sure. Got it, Chetan. Super. Yeah, thanks a lot, Chetan. Thanks for your time. And it was great talking with you. Learned a lot, especially with respect to how TV works, how content marketing in TV works, and how to launch let's say, a new TV channel and so on, right? So I think a really lot of new stuff that I have not probably, let's say, gone in detail in the past. So yeah, thanks a lot for your time. And yeah, looking forward to keep in touch with you.
Thank you, Surinder, for having me. It was great talk with you. Yeah, thank you, and all the best.
Sure. Sure. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Chetan.